Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherina and I am a college student studying psychology. My goal one day is to become a psychologist or other profession that helps foster youth. I'm a former foster youth. My story began when I was taken away from my mom at the hospital because I was born with drugs in my system. When I was 6 months, I was adopted by a family that loved me, but was very abusive mentally, physically, and emotionally. I remember one day at school, when I was 8 years old, my 3rd grade teacher told me to go to the principal's office. There, I was stripped down and examined for bruises and scars. I was terrified, and all I could do was watch as these strangers stared at me. There were bruises everywhere, and it wasn't hard for them to find any. In fact, I still have a scar right on my head today. The next time I remember was going into the police car. They were driving me, and I didn't know where they were taking me. I never got to say goodbye to my teachers, my friends, and even my really best friend that I knew since kindergarten. I never saw her again. I just wanted to go home. The police drove me to my first foster home. I went to about 8 different homes within the first 2 years. Going to a stranger's house was very scary. Most of the time, I didn't want to go. I missed my family, especially my sister and my dog, Kayla. I felt so alone. No one ever explained to me why I kept on moving. The social worker would just show up one day and yet again and move me. I remember this one time holding onto the vents, screaming, saying, "No, I don't want to go. Leave me alone. Why can't I stay?" The social worker just answered, "Let's go get ice cream. It'll make you feel better." Living in so many different homes and going to so many different schools made me feel like no one wanted me or if I wasn't good enough for them. I never stayed long enough to make real friends, so I really stopped trying. I moved into my last foster home when I was 11 years old. I finally found a place I felt safe enough to call home. The social workers would often ask if they would adopt me, but my foster parents weren't open to adoption because things might change. If they adopted me, they would no longer get paid, and if I misbehaved, they wouldn't be able to take me away or send me away. When I turned 18, my foster dad wanted to charge me $400 for rent. I thought that was way too much, so I decided to move out. I had no idea it was actually a pretty good deal. Although he was really tough on me and strict, I think I learned a lot from him. I learned to turn off the lights and water when they weren't in use. I learned that nothing in the world is free. Hard work, dedication, and sometimes a little bit of sweat is what is needed. I learned that associating myself with people that are on the same path as I am is best. I waited 6 months to get into the Volunteers of America Transitional Housing Program for foster youth. I worked mainly one-on-one with the housing specialist, Paul. He was really terrific at what he did. He taught me the importance of budgeting and how to connect my utilities in efficient ways. I learned how to make doctor's appointments, apply for college, and how to make grocery shopping lists. I stayed very busy with school as a full-time student and as well as worked on campus and at Rite Aid. I stayed in the program for 2 years. Volunteers of America is incredible and really makes a difference in lives of foster youth. Most of us really have no one to depend on. Anyone who supports this great organization should know that they're really making a difference. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't get that call that day saying, "Sherina, we have a spot for you." As a foster youth, the challenge of how the system works leaves us confused, isolated, and scared, which can hinder our growth as adults. 65% of youth who leave foster care system at age 18 will experience homelessness or jail in months. 70% of foster youth who do not graduate, or 70% of foster youth do not graduate from high school, and very few actually go to college. I am not one of those statistics because of Volunteers of America. I want to change the statistics for foster youth and children in care, but I can't do it alone. I feel that it is my duty to be a voice for foster youth. I just hope and dream that others step up, like yourself, and support other kids like me. Kids just want a loving family, someone to belong to, and someone who cares how they actually turn out. Thank you so much for caring enough to be here this morning.